Hello again, everyone. In this video, I want to show you how I take notes in the terminal using ZK and Helix. So Helix is of course my favorite text editor, but what is ZK? Well, ZK is a terminal application for creating a Zettelkasten-like note-taking workflow or system using your favorite editor. And just to explain what a Zettelkasten is basically a note-taking system that is characterized by short atomic notes given structure by links to other nodes in the Zettelkasten. So I'm going to use Helix as my editor in this video, but you can use any modern editor. It can be any editor that supports the LSP protocol, the language server protocol, and it can even be a GUI editor like VSCode, for example. It doesn't really matter. So to show you how it works, I've prepared a notebook here. I have a much bigger notebook, but I'm just going to show you this subset here because I have a ton of notes on, private stuff, and I'm just going to show you my Python notes here today. So these are all my notes on Python, quite a bit actually. And I can just go in here with my editor and just open these files here in a picker, and you can see, as you can see, I give basically all my notes meaningful names. So it's usually whenever I write about a topic that is going to have a lot of notes, I will start the name of the node with that topic. So in this case, Python. And this way I can very easily find my notes here in my editor. For example, I can just type, dictionaries, and then I can read about dictionaries here. And this is basically how I structure my notes. I give them meaningful names, obviously, but short names. And then I have this front matter here in the beginning, which is automatically generated whenever I make a new node, which has the date the node was created, the tags that this node has, the ID, and any aliases. Then of course we have headings. Of course, this is just basic markdown stuff here. But as you can see here, these links are what are called wiki style links. And this is how ZK works basically. ZK plugs into Helix here or any other editor as a language server and then gives you this functionality from within the editor. So for example, I have this link here that leads to another file, another node, and I can just go to the definition here using this language server functionality, and in Helix that's GD, so I just press GD, and now I'm in this node here. Now I can see what this is about. It's just Python dictionary comprehension, I guess. Yeah, this is very nice. I can just switch back very quickly to this other node here. And I can also use other functionality here. For example, you can use hover, or I can basically peek at the node without opening it. For example, if I press space K here, which is the hover functionality in Helix, I can just quickly see what is in this node without actually opening it. So yeah, and this is how I structure my nodes basically. And to also give the whole thing some more structure, I basically give each topic a node that basically just contains links to nodes that are part of that topic. For example, if I write about Python, I have a node that is just python.md, and that will basically just be a bunch of links to all of my nodes on Python. So now I can go through here and look through all my nodes on Python. And because this is all using LSP functionality here, you can also use diagnostics. For example, here I have some error. This node is not found. So what I can do now is actually go into this picker here that Helix has just for diagnostics. And now I can see, okay, I have these two errors here in my file. These are the links that lead to nodes that are not actually found in this notebook. So, now I should go in here and actually fix these. What's also very useful is you can actually make nodes just using the language server without actually, leaving your editor. For example, I could just do, here is another node, and then I can just highlight this here. And now if I press space A, this will bring up this little menu here, and this is basically a code action in Helix using the language server, and this will just create a new node here. And this will already use a template here that I have prepared for this node, which will automatically create this front matter here and create the title of the node based on the stuff that we highlighted before. Another important thing that I want to talk about when I create nodes is that I have basically just regular nodes, and I structure those with links and of course tags. And then I have basically source nodes. So whenever I basically use a source to create a node, I make a source node that is separate from that, content node, basically. And the advantage of that is that I can basically refer to one source in different nodes. I just don't have to repeat myself. And then I can also, for example, let me just show you a source node here. Yeah, this, for example, is a video course on Python that I looked at. A lot of nodes that refer to this source link back to this source node here. And now I can just show these references here. Okay, this is where I use this node, this source node. So now I can basically see, all the nodes that are referring to this source here. And I can basically mark these nodes, these source nodes, either with tags, of course, but I also put a V in this case at the beginning of the name of the node, and that basically marks it as a video source. And I also have like other nodes that are like articles, for example, and they start with an A dash. You can also put these source nodes in different folders. That's totally viable as well. It just, it doesn't really matter how you do it. It's basically accomplishing the same thing. These are just two different ways to do it. So, okay, so why is this great? Why is taking notes like this great? First of all, of course, you're just using plain text here. This is all plain text. You're not logged into some proprietary app that saves all your data in the cloud somewhere. This is all plain text. You can basically use any kind of editor you like with this. It's all open standards. Because it's also just text, you can synchronize it easily using, some kind of synchronization software with other machines that you own. You can back it up easily. You can also version control this. For example, I have my stuff in Git here. And of course, I can use my favorite editor to write my notes and to search through them, which I really love. You can just really easily navigate your notes and find stuff very quickly. For example, I can also use grep. I can just do like this. I can use rip grep here and search for the word function in my notes, and then it will show me each time the word function is mentioned. Or I can just do this from my editor. For example, here, if I do space / I can just search for dictionary. And this will show me each time I mention the word dictionary in my notes here. And then I can go to this node. It's very quick to navigate everything. You can achieve this with ZK. I use that. I like that. You can basically also achieve this with other language servers that are for Markdown. For example, there is Marksman, there's Markdown Oxide or IWE. These are all language servers for Markdown. And they accomplish similar things, but I just like ZK more because, well, I like the features it has as a language server, but also I like the CLI program behind it and the templates that you can do with them. I just like that functionality as well. So just quickly to show you how that part works, I'm just gonna exit out of here. And, if you wanted to create a new project here, all you need to do is basically just install ZK, of course, here. I already have this, so I'm not gonna do that, but if you wanted to create a new notebook here, all you need to do is just create a new folder here, then go into that folder, and then you can just create a new Zettelkasten in this case, and you can do this here, ZK init, and this will basically ask you a few questions. So do you prefer wiki links or not? I prefer wiki links, so I'm just gonna answer yes here. This doesn't matter for me. I put all my hashtags in my front matter, so I don't really care about this. And now there we go. Now we've done it. And then you basically have all this CLI functionality here. For example, you can create new nodes here with like this. You can just create a new node with ZK new -t and then the title of the node. And there you go. Now I have made this node here, and you might notice that by default, ZK will give the file name a random string. Basically, that's the ID that's meant to basically make sure that it's not, that's always identifiable and that it's always unique. But I prefer actually giving my nodes meaningful file names that actually, mean something to me, just because it's easier to search through them without actually leaving your editor here. So just to show you how it works under the hood a little bit, let me just go to my Python nodes here again, and now let me enter this folder here. This is the .zk folder. This is where all the magic happens basically. So this is the config.toml here. And this is where I can change the configuration. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this. You can figure it out yourself, but I just want to show you this part here. This is actually where you can change how the files are named. So if you do zk-new-t and then give it a title, this will basically take that title and then create the node file name from that title. And this is basically the notebook.db. This is the database that zk uses under the hood. And here we have the templates folder. This is pretty useful. This is basically how I achieve this automatically generated front matter. I just put this in here. And then I also have the title that's also filled in here and content if you want to. And if you do all that, then you can basically also do some queries here for the nodes that you have. For example, you can do zk-list and then, I don't know, choose a tag here, like, I don't know, Linux or whatever. And then you can get all the nodes that have this tag Linux here. You can also do -i. This will basically use an interactive search here. And then you can just go through here and list all the files that you want here. Similarly, you can also use zk-edit, and then you can also do that with I, and then you can just edit the file that you want here, for example, this one. I rarely use this because I mostly just do everything from my editor and just use the language server functionality from my editor, but it's here if you want to use it. So really quickly, I also just want to show you how the Helix part works here. So this is the Helix folder in my notebook here. And of course, if you would create a folder like this, then this will basically create project-specific settings for Helix. And in this case, I will basically just, declare my language server here, zk language server with the correct arguments, and then basically say, okay, I want to use that for Markdown here. Just ignore all the other stuff here. This is just some testing that I did. It doesn't matter. This is the important part. And this is how you get this to work, basically. Very simple. So one way I also create nodes quickly is, well, first of all, I also, of course, create nodes quickly from within the editor, like I showed you with the code action. But for source nodes, I often just use shell abbreviations that I have in my fish configuration file. And they basically go like this. I just do ZN, and then it will automatically go to my documents folder, my notes folder, and then just create this new node here. And I, of course, also have specific nodes, specific aliases or abbreviations here for specific source types. For example, I do Z as A, and then it will expand to, it will let me create a node that uses a template that is specific to sources that are articles. And this is a one way to really create a specific type of node fast. All right, this is my basic note-taking system, guys. I really love it. I've been using this for about a year now, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. It is really flexible and fast. I can really recommend you guys start to use it. And yeah, that's the video, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.